Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star, Mopars.com. Sunday fun day. We just spent probably close to an hour, as crazy as that may seem, going over that Tekton's new number 2 Phillips. We cover pretty much everything, right? And if you missed that one and you're curious, feel free to check it back. It's basically every angle you would want to imagine, USA versus Germany and everything in between. But all that goes to the side because we're sticking with the USA, at least with these wrenches. This is kind of a refresher for you, and what this is Tekton's angle head wrenches. I told you, in that previous screwdriver video, they did a lot of things like USA base that were great, and they invested heavily in the laser reel cutting and everything. And they've done a very nice job, in my opinion, with these angle head wrenches. When we got these in, I think I did like a limited run, and I was like, I'm going to kind of build out a more comprehensive set of what I'd run into. And so in metric here, we've got 19 that I just had in hand, 17, 14, 13, and 10. Should I just have bought the set? Probably, but we didn't. We're kind of thrifty. And you're thinking, well, hey, where's the SAE equivalent, man? Well, I'll be straight up honest with you. They are not here. In fact, let's go take a look at where they're at. So here on, you guessed it, the US General Master Tech, off to the side, I have these 3 wrenches. I ignore the half moon stuff from SK, but right there, 7/16, half, and 9/16. Those are my most frequently used, and they are there for a reason. They are incredibly handy. Now coming back over here, you're thinking like, whoa, hey, you've actually got more metric than you do SAE. I know, terrible, right? So those literally are the bread and the butter where I tend to find myself needing tight access, special angles, can't get a socket, can't get a regular wrench and turn it type of a thing. Think header bolts. I have used those extensively. A lot of times, like at least back in the day, maybe the 90s, headers would often come with like specialty bolts. It would be like a 3/8 bolt, which you would think, okay, well, that's going to have a 9/16 head on it, but the head would be significantly shaved down, right? To the point where it's like got 1/4-20 type of a head, 7/16. Sometimes it's half. Weird things, but very much needed just for the access with the primary tubes coming off of your exhaust ports. So that just in general, like sometimes hanger bolts, exhaust manifold stuff, like you run into all sorts of things where those are handy. And since I just had 3 wrenches, I've just thrown them up there. They're quick access, easy to grab. I can use them on other things, and they've been good to me. And when I was placing an order for this guy, sadly my Tekton rewards had expired like, I don't know, 2 months prior, which really sucked because that would have gotten me that for free, and maybe like another gray Ernst rail. That's really the big pickup there. Tekton has gray, if you didn't know. You can't get that straight from Ernst, but you can get a gray Ernst rail from Tekton, so that's kind of cool if you're into it. But I thought, you know what? Those have been great. I just need to kind of expand that out, right? So my honey hole, 7/16, half, 9/16, 1/4, 5/16, 3/8 hardware. Well, like, what would be something else frequently encountered, right, that could be beneficial? Well, 1/2-inch hardware. What do we need for that? 3/4, okay. And then thinking like a step down, this is just me speculating. I'm like, there were times where I would have to like get a box end wrench and couldn't really fit it, like thinking front end, old Mopar stuff. In this case, I'm applying it to like grills, plastic trim fasteners, all that sort of stuff. And I thought, yeah, you know what, let's just go ahead and step it down, and pick up a 3/8. It'll be a good call. Well, that is exactly what we did. And if you're thinking like, oh man, this must be a pretty good tool haul, we'll have this and a bunch of other stuff. No, we're just going to have these, and for good reason. Case in point, our part numbers for the 3/8, you're going to have WAE 83210. It's $13. And for the 3/4, you're going to have part number WAE 83219 for $18. So $13 and $18 respectively. But let's go ahead and slide these out, shall we? Thinking like, oh yeah, come on out. All right, nothing else in the black bag, and here they are in little sleeves. You're like, oh, you're not going to complain about that, are you? No, it's fine. I totally get it. I got them here. They're not oil covered. They're not greasy or grimy. Here is the 3/8, and here is the bigger 3/4. And you're thinking like, oh yeah, I definitely like that. Well, let's go ahead and simulate that, right? And just put these on the peg and slide them on back for me. Anybody notice anything jarring? Perhaps unexpected? Huh? Anyone? Let me just 3/4 19. We all agree that is pretty close, right? And you're thinking like, oh, well, how nice. They distinguish between the metric and the SAE. For everyone that's modern, unlike you, idiot, is using metric. So it gets a nice mirror polish finish. And then they just did SAE and that like flat, dull finish. No! I don't know when this happened. I alluded to this in the screwdriver video. I said, like, hey, I hadn't kept tabs on that, if the prices went up or down. No way for me to check since they're on clearance. They have changed their plating, right? So this was chrome plated, obviously, as you can tell. I just kind of assumed they were still rolling with the same thing, and they are totally not. Totally 100% not. Everything else seems to be the same except for the plating. And this is what pisses me off, okay? It's not that I have like a mismatched, I use that lightly, it's not a big deal, right? It's not like it's multi-brand, it's all Tekton, but it's not that it's a mismatched set. And you're thinking like, oh, oh yeah. This guy, Mr. Industrial America, German tools and Japanese fondness for tools, you're digging this satin finish, and you're like, oh, I wish I could unload this mirror polished chrome, right? No, surprisingly not. When I first saw these, that's exactly what I was thinking. This is a nickel plated process, right? Should be very good corrosion resistance and everything. The problem I have, while it is a satin finish, okay, which is cool and nice. I mean, think Stavilla, think Hazette, Gador. Like, I love satin finish, even on right. I'm a big satin finish guy. Go against the grain, the typical Americana chrome in-your-face mirror plating. What I don't like about this is how slick it is. I have never had something with a satin finish that has been like this. This is almost like you're getting something from Snap-on and they've conveniently left like assembly line oil on it for you or something. But there's not. This doesn't have any of that. Blemishes or, like defects, like surface materials, coatings or any kind. It's just slippery. And to have a satin finish, I mean, you can feel the grain in it. Like, you could tell it was like blasted, and you can feel sort of like the pitting and the coating of it, right? This just feels like a flat piece of steel with, shine on it, right? This provides more grip in my bare hand than that does. And that blows my mind. I mean, like, to have something mirror polish, you would think would just whoop, slide and, Butterfingers type of a thing, comedy, sports blooper reels from the 90s on VHS tapes. This is incredibly slick, and I don't say that as a good thing. All right. The Tekton and the size is also way harder to get to show up in the light. It's also harder to see in person. But this is just weird. Typically, like if I had this wrench or a chrome-plated Tekton or a chrome-plated Snap-on or Wright, and we took a textured satin finish from Wright or a German company or KTC or anything, you would be like, hey, I kind of like this shiny one. It's what I grew up with, I'm accustomed to and aesthetically prefer. But yeah, this does provide better grip. This does not. And it sucks. Not only then is it a mismatched set, but I think this was better just from the pure dexterity aspect, right? To be fair to Tekton, I want to come in and kind of cover what they're going to say. Again, the wrenches themselves are great. I'm sure it's going to be just as good as my previous sizes here. and they've been really good. I haven't had any issue with them. The biggest selling point to me is the ends are different. It's a 30-60 configuration, so it's like 2 wrenches in one. It's super nice. I don't know why more people don't do that. Here's what they're going to say. It starts here with a uniform coverage and better fit. Again, this is Tekton, not me, okay? The electroless nickel plating process versus a conventional chrome plating process applies a uniform coating to the entire tool surface. By comparison, electroplating, including conventional chrome plating, has varying thickness across the tool because plating thickness depends on the electric current density at each point on the tool. So think of the tip is a little thinner, or the head right here has got more material than the shaft or the beam. You might have an irregularity there, and then it polishes out, and it could provide like something that looks like a blemish, right? The uniformity of an electroless coating has 2 major advantages. Number 1, complete corrosion protection on interior surfaces. That's cool, okay. A better fit in the wrench jaws because plating material does not accumulate at the jaw tips. So clearly there are selling points to this, right? And I mean, I'm not going to argue if this truly has better corrosion protection than that. And if I bought enough of these and I'm like, hey, this doesn't fit well, but this side does, and I looked at them and mic'd them or put a caliper across them or under a microscope, and I'm like, hey, there's a lot of junk just kind of built up on this, bottom jaw for some reason, or maybe it was dunked this way and it hung up here. And I'm like, yeah, I've determined a defect. I have to file that down or something. Great selling points for the electroless nickel process, right? But it sucks to be slick. Like, I mean, this is one of those things. You'll have, if you've got what I had, if you were unlike me, Mr. Cheapskate, piecemealing wrench by wrench what you want to use or need to use, and you bought the full set and you did it SAE and metric, varying times, Christmas, birthday, whatever, okay? You have that. You do not know. If you have these, I don't know when this change happened. I personally would have think this would have been a big deal. I would also assume anything they make in-house, like their laser-etched crow feet, I would assume they're also now receiving this same treatment. I could be wrong. Again, I don't follow them closely, but I get their emails. I don't recall ever seeing an email about, hey, we're switching from, traditional mirror polish chrome to this electro-nickel stuff. I don't know that I would have bought these if I would have known that they had done this. I certainly would have liked to have known how slick this was going to be. It won't be, this isn't like a regular use daily combination, open box wrench type of thing. So it's going to still remain kind of like special applications, 3/4, you might think of like hydraulic fittings or something. But I have to say, assuming we could get that dialed in with the chrome where you didn't have fitment issues with fasteners, which I have not in the sizes I have and have used, even though I would be a satin guy, I just openly tell you, like, I like satin better, right? Like if I grab these, okay, and I just have to tell you, do I like the black, the chrome, or the satin finish better? I would go satin. I'm in the minority there. I know it. I don't care. It's a personal preference. This is just slick. And I don't know. So if you have relatively newer, you recently purchased these, you're going to have presumably a whole set of the electro nickel plated ones. And if your buddy has an old set, like this provides so much more dexterity than this, and that is weird to me. So maybe it is just that much better of a coating, but I don't know. I couldn't imagine, like doing this and then handing it to somebody and them saying, oh yeah, I like this dull plating and lack of luster better, and I also like that it's slicker in my hand. I might be the oddball that says like, oh yeah, I love that that's not mirror plated in your face chrome. Yeah, but I would not be a fan of how slippery these are. I mean, that's really the best way to phrase it. And again, just trying to see the Tekton and the size marking, and they do put USA on the backside, you never know. But right here, that's pretty easy, even with the absurdly bright mirror polished, that they did a fairly good job, in my opinion, on. See how easy that is to see, even with the glare from the light? Let me, again, 3/4 here for you. If I get it at just the right angle of incidence, you're not going to see jack, but right there, you can kind of see it. Spin it around. Yeah. And again, up in your face, away from the light, it's still easier to see that. So this battery light's been flashing. That's literally all I've got for you. I would have done this as a throw-in with the screwdrivers, but I was just kind of appalled. One of these, again, they didn't come sealed. I'm not cheating on you. I like to have a virgin impression. That one slid out when I opened it, and I touched it. I was like, whoa, what? And I'm like, hey, that doesn't look right. And yeah, I had no idea they'd made this change. So the selling points, they make it sound like a really great thing. And if that's true, and I assume it is, that's great. But I have to say, I prefer the feel of this. This has more grip and dexterity in my hand than the electro-nickel. So I don't know. What I want to know from you, which one of these do you prefer aesthetically? And do you like to have a positive purchase and a, good non-slip grip on a wrench, or do you like them to slide around in your hand? Maybe I'm in the minority here. But I cannot imagine, you think of open angle wrenches like this, again, servicing a forklift, heavy duty equipment, hydraulic lines, that's where a lot of this stuff is going to be used. Get your hands oily, and this is going to be like a nightmare. Not that this would be great if your hands are slick, but like this will be really bad. I don't know what they were thinking on that. There's got to be a way for them to get a little bit more like texture back to that. But if any of you are like me and you just slowly like, oh hey, I need this weird 30mm wrench, I'll buy another open angle wrench and get free freight or something. If you're like me and you just slowly have pieced it together and you have now a mixed set of mirror polished and electro nickel, which one do you prefer? I could be totally making this out of proportion and might be in the minority. Everyone might hate that and love this. I think that was a superior finish, right? Just for the sakes mentioned, but I'm sure these will be fine. Luckily, 3/8 was just kind of like, you know what? I think that might come in handy. 3/4, I'll use it. But luckily, the ones that I use the most are the 3 sizes I bought a long time ago. Not a long time, a couple of years ago. These are relatively new product, general speaking. But I was just kind of shocked to see that big of a change. And again, that's kind of, you might not keep up with Tekton or be on their mailing list and been Mr. Hard Handle. And you go in and you're like, hey, I'm gonna get my torque set in that finally. I've saved up some money. Well, hope you like change, buddy. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this. Again, I was just kind of taken back by it. I'm not gonna lie, aesthetically pleasing to have a mixed set of wrenches? No. Is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. These are good. It's a great value. They're US made. What I've used of them, I've loved. I haven't had issues slipping or anything like that, fastener or hand. This, great selling points Tekton has presented me, but if I was given the choice of, hey, do I want the satin electro nickel or do I want traditional mirror chrome, I honestly would pick this if I didn't already have a set. And when it came in and I got it, and it, like, if you grab a Stavilla wrench, there's like, it doesn't slip as bad as like a mirror polish Proto or Ride or Snap-on, right? These are just like crazy slick. And I am not a fan. I prefer the older iteration. So I want to know your thoughts, particularly if any of you like me now have like a mixed set. It could be, let's say you broke your 13mm. Tekton has you send a picture, they get one out to you. Great, super cool setup there. But now you've got your whole metric set. We'll assume most people aren't cheap and bought like an 8 to 19 or 22 set. But now your 13 is electro nickel. And it looks weird, but which wrench do you prefer in hand? That's ultimately what I'm interested in. So, again, I still think it's a good value. If they perform like these, I think they're going to be fine. They're not a daily use. They're just kind of a really, really nice to have sometimes. But as weird as it is for me to say, I prefer the mirror polished traditional chrome plating. In this instance and application, I totally do. So I wish they kind of would have made note of that, but it is what it is, man. So on that front, I'll leave it at that. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. Again, first-hand experience with this, let me know, especially if you are, say, a satin fan. You prefer the satin wrenches of Stavila, Hazette, Gador, maybe some Japanese brands. Maybe the right finish is what you go for in satin. Proto does satin as well. Tell people, but this is slick, and that to me sucks. It also sucks again to have it mismatched, but like that is better in hand, as odd as that is to say. So if you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do so. If you do that, you ring the bell, you jump your charger across the creek, you crash down, break all of your open angle wrenches so you can have a match set, even though they're slicker in hand. YouTube just might notify you. We got brand new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more from the shop.